In part 1, we were determined to save 20k by doing it ourselves. We went from this overgrown forest to this blank canvas. The plan was to essentially enable us to park 2 cars and to build a retaining wall in that area. We wanted the wall to be of reclaimed stones, which we'd found all over the property. And during the excavation, we found loads more, which was brilliant. If you haven't seen part 1, the link is in the description, so go check it out. After a 3-month hiatus, we were back, with a bit more knowledge and a bit more equipment. It was October 2025, and first step was to take down the dry wall and rebuild the corner to the left. We hadn't really done any of the corners. This was mainly because we were a bit intimidated by them, and finding the right stones to fit was always a challenge. This is why the back part of the wall is made out of breeze block, as you can see here. It's a retaining wall, and therefore there's a hell of a lot of earth sitting behind it. It needed to be solid. We also wanted it to be quite thick, to match the perimeter wall that we had all around the property. As you can see here, this is a pretty thick wall, and using cut stones meant that we were always going to have a gap in the middle. To fill the gap, we used small stones and bits of the old terrace from around the pool. We tapped, we jiggled, we made sure that all the little nooks and crannies were filled. Because as you'll see from later videos, ivy gets everywhere. We had settled on what we thought was a simple process. Choose the stones, build a dry wall, take the stones out, put them back in with cement. It still took hours.
Alright, end of autumn day 2 of the wall. We have one more layer over here, which was quite difficult when you have to do both sides of the wall. So we have a corner piece that we need to build up with some giant rocks as potentials. So yes, we'll go across to the end.
Wait. Yeah, the wall will be that high.
Yep. And then it will be a step. And then from here, it will be just one level higher than this one.
At the end of day 3, we had finally covered those horrible breeze blocks. But we're yet to tackle the 2 corners. And our new pieces of equipment, our knee pads, were coming into their own. It was now time to tackle the corner, and this stone was probably one of the heaviest we put in. But once in, it looked great. We now tackled the left side of the car park area. This is where we'd found a water pipe back in May, and where the biggest tree roots had been. We were now back to using lime mortar, as this was the final home stretch. The wall was built, and all that was left was pointing, which we thought would be easy. After a quick jet wash, our troubles began with pointing. We purchased a grout bag, which was actually extremely difficult to use, and due to the fact that we didn't put sand in it, the colour was awful. So we went back to our normal mortar mix and our trowels, and this is the colour it dried as.
Because it would be nice to hide the horrible white stuff.
And it really was truly horrible. And at this stage I was a bit nervous that we had hidden all our beautiful stones, including this lovely fossil, under mortar.
Let's try it.
In which case, do we have to not do anything until it's dry?
We definitely can't. Well, we can do the top, we put a tarp over it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've got that black plastic we can just lay over the top of it.
Yeah.
Problem is,
Still
well, we'll put it on when it's wet, but when it's dry, we can take it off. If we leave it on too long, it won't evaporate and dry. So we have to. Yeah, we can do it. If we've got a day or two, we just put it over when it rains.
So after 10 days of rain, we were back, and Andrew was wiping off with a wet sponge the grouts from each of the stones. I genuinely wasn't convinced that this was going to work, and Andrew had gone extremely silent.
No, I'm just saying here we would put the cement on into the cracks again, but the cracks aren't as big, so you is what I'm sort of saying.
Tickle.
This is Andrew's way of saying, I'm not sure, please don't talk to me about it. So we ploughed on. I was putting the mortar in and Andrew was rubbing the wall. Progress was extremely slow, and we had to contort ourselves into all sorts of shapes to get into all those little nooks and crannies. But at least we had the dogs for company, who seemed to love the new wall. At the end of that day, we stood back and hoped it would dry okay.
We'll hold our breath and let it dry the colour we want.
Thankfully, it did. It dried this lovely sandy colour, which was exactly what we were aiming for. So with a bit more confidence, we carried on. Andrew carried on rubbing, now tackling that white area that we didn't want, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that it would turn out okay.
So how many step process that we've got? Step 1,
Oh man.
put the putty in. Or put the mortar in to all the holes.
Put the mortar in,
Yep.
wipe it over, make sure it's push it all into the
So wipe it over. And that's with a brush. That's not with a brush.
No, that's with a wet sponge.
With a wet sponge. So it's like this.
Let that go off a bit.
Yeah.
And then
So that's stage 2. So stage 3 is what?
rubbing it down with a brush to expose the stones.
Yep.
And then just getting a sponge and just making sure the grout is still all good.
And getting rid of any excess water.
And then hosing it down.
Okay.
Alright.
So step 3, brush.
Step 3, brush.
Step 4, go back over with a sponge. And then step 5, hose it down.
I'm not counting, so I'll trust you. Possibly.
This is why getting a straight answer out of Andrew sometimes is complicated.
What's that?
So what have you hosed down? The bit that had the white on it?
The one that was white.
Yes, you may recall that was white and it was terrible. Okay, so this is step 4 then. And then you go in with the sponge.
Well, I'm happy to negotiate the order. But see, it shows up the speckles in the grout. I think it looks really good.
We had finally landed on a process that worked for us. So it was now down to the final push. Making small batch mixes in our bucket, in part because our cement mixer Jaffa was starting to really hurt our ears, but mainly because we didn't need such large mixes anymore. We were close to the end. We had decided against expensive stone capping. At 500 a pop, we would have needed about 10. We just thought that was extravagant. So instead, we were just mortaring the top of the wall. It was now early November, and the frost had definitely set in, so we ensured to cover the wall with tarp every evening. We're now at our final stage and our final day, and probably our favourite. Hosing down the last of the mortar to reveal the stones that we had taken so much time choosing and placing.
Happy now?
That'll do. Have we finished?
I think so.
Oh man. Oh no.
Right off. So unlike other people, we're going to bin it straight away.
Put.
Kaput. Kaput.
And on that note, we were done. All we had to do now was wait for it to dry before we went on to the next phase. We had turned this overgrown jungle into a ready-to-use car park for at least 2 cars. We're extremely happy with where we'd got to. Let's have a look up close at the final product. The wall is finally built. But we're not quite finished with this area yet. We still have some plans, which will have to wait till the spring. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.